Get your Dragon Ball Z SH Figuarts at Big Bad Toy Store. Check out the link in the description below. Hello there, collectors. It is Steven here with a review that has been nearly 3 years in the making since I uploaded my unboxing video, and you guys all seem to love it. So, here is my review of the SH Figuarts Vegetto Vegetto. So, this figure was a Bandai Premium web shop exclusive, but thanks to the fine folks at Bluefin, it was brought over to the United States as a general release. So you can go ahead and buy it at retail. However, with the recent 2.0 upgrade to the Dragon Ball Z SH Figuarts releases, is it worth hunting down this old guy here? Well, you might be surprised. Or not. Let's take a look to see whether or not he's worth adding into your collection. Unsurprisingly, Tamashii Nations took one of the easy ways out here, and they went ahead and they repainted the old Goku body for Vegetto here. The sculpt is going to be identical except for in a few areas where it's not, because Goku doesn't have Vegeta's boots or the gloves or the Potara earrings. So they did have to do some new sculpting to the body here, but generally speaking, all of the sculpt marks are going to be the same for the muscles and so forth. However, the paint decorations and the paint apps and all of that fun stuff are changed for Vegetto, for better or worse, because unfortunately quality control is a bit hit or miss, but generally speaking, he looks good. When we take a closer look at the face, we can definitely see that the decals, for the most part, are clean, and there's nothing really to complain about here. Nice and crisp. Unfortunately, though, I don't necessarily think they nailed the look of Vegetto as much as they did something closer to Gohan, Ultimate Gohan here. That is another figure released. But we do have a fantastic hair sculpt for Vegetto here. It is nice and spiky, plenty of waves in there. So nice they had to do it twice, and they gave us a repainted head for the Super Vegetto. So yeah, you'll see that head a little later. As we move down to the rest of the body, you can see that his orange and blue color scheme is captured well enough. You're going to notice that Vegetto unfortunately has a little bit too much of a heavy blue spray in some areas, specifically on his skin. You can see up near his collarbone, there's just a little bit heavy bleed over, but other than that, there's an orange hair up on his left shoulder and a random orange streak on his right, but he's pretty much clean. There's really no issue to complain about here. And as we move farther on down, we get all the way down to the boots, and the blue shading is fantastic. That is something that is missing from the current day Dragon Ball Figuarts. Taking a look at the arms real quick, we have great shading on the muscles and whatnot, but when we get to the gloves, we do see that the part on the forearm has a nice blue shade to it, but the hands are pretty much a pure white. That is very, very odd. I don't know why they went with that. So in sum, for Vegetto, there are some spots that look killer, like the muscles and the blue shading on the boots and on portions of the gloves, but then we do have some quality control issues that kind of make you scratch your head and wonder what exactly is going on here. Oh, by the way, from my unboxing video, there were some questions of authenticity. Here are the bottom of his feet, where you can clearly see Bandai's production markers indicating that yes, this did in fact come from a Bandai factory, so you know this is a legitimate product. Since he is using Goku's body, Vegetto's articulation is outdated even at the time of release, because even Goku's body was outdated at the time of release, but that doesn't necessarily mean the articulation is bad. So if you own a Goku, you know what you're getting. The head is on a ball joint, so we can bob it around just like that, attached to the neck. And then it, in and of itself, is on a swivel. So we can move it up and down, side to side. It's basically a swivel hinge combo system, as you can see here. Easy peasy, yeah? Good. So you know how that moves and how it likes to explode. And then we have the actual neck system here, which plugs into the shoulders, into the body, on a ball joint. So you can even get Vegetto's head to move around a little bit more like that. The sleeves are on ball joints, so this way you can move them around a little bit. Occasionally one might pop off. If they do, that's a pain because they don't like to pop back in easy enough, but hey, you know, it can be done. Then we do have ball jointed shoulders where they plug into the body. Then we do have hinges. So you are going to have to use the ball jointed sleeves in your favor, because if you just have the arms, work with me, like that, well, they're not going to go up that high, right? But if you move them down kind of like that, oh, look at that, Vegetto's arm's going up much higher. So yeah, good shoulder movement, and we can go about that far forward. We don't really have a butterfly hinge per se, but we do have nice range of movement moving forward. We have the traditional bicep swivel, and we have double hinged elbows there. So that's pretty awesome, yeah? Yeah. For the wrists, we have swivel hinge combo with the hands plugging in on a ball joint. So as you see there, they swivel at the base, and then they hinge in one direction. So go ahead and pop the fist back on there. Now, we don't really have an ab crunch, but we do have a waist joint that is on a ball joint, so you can rock Vegetto around like that. And as you see there, it does pop out, giving you a little bit more movement there, forward and back, side to side. So there's a comparison with it plugged in properly. And you can twist and turn, obviously. That also does increase his height just a little bit. We do have the pull down hips, which are technically a hinge, so you can see that nice gap there. And then the legs plug into the hips on a ball joint, and that socket in and of itself is on a swivel. So there you go. We can spread the legs out about that far for the splits. We do have double hinge knees, which look ugly. And you are going to have to be careful with them, because if you don't move them properly, then sometimes, it's stuck. Yeah. So the 2.0 body is a huge improvement. Ball jointed ankles, which mine, good ankle rockers, but for some reason they are kind of not the most stablest joint ever. So yeah. He's taking a shelf dive or two, but he's sturdy enough. He's held up. And then we do have a toe hinge, which doesn't really move down, but it does move up. So with Vegetto here, yes, you are going to get some nice poses in for your nifty Dragon Ball display. However, his articulation is absolutely dated, and in terms of engineering for looks, it could have been done a little better. But still, at the end of the day, you are going to be able to pose him and get him into some sweet action shots. Now we move on to accessories, and for about $40, Bandai really gave us a treat. So for some of the things that didn't necessarily go right in the look section, this makes up for it. Alongside the normal Vegetto head, we do get the Super Vegetto head. We get one faceplate for normal Vegetto. We get 3 in total for Super Vegetto. We get 1 crossed arms part. We get 2 extra sets of hands, 1 splayed, 1 Kamehameha. And we get 1 special hand to use for the Spirit Sword, which is an included effect part. They did drop the ball, however, and they did not include a support stand for Vegetto. Why is that important? You'll see in a little bit. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at the alternate head and faceplates that we get. Aside from the stern look for the normal Vegetto head, we do get 1 screaming off to the side face with Vegetto, which is similar to all of the Goku Figuarts that we have gotten in the past. So I wonder where the inspiration for this one came from. Then for the Super Vegetto head, which again is identical in sculpt to the normal Vegetto, we do have the normal stern look. We have a face which looks straight ahead, which is screaming, and then we have a smirking off to the right-hand side face. Very, very neat. Now to swap out the heads, it's very, very simple. All you have to do is grab the head, pop it off, line up the ball joint, and pop the new head on. Occasionally, the faceplate and the hair may go ahead and blow up on you, but that's all right. Which that's also how you swap out the faceplates. You just grab the front hair piece, you pull that off, then you put the new faceplate on, and you are all set to go there. Pretty straightforward like I showed you. Now let's go ahead and take a look at that crossed arm part. It can be a little bit of a pain to line up perfectly. Even here in this review, I don't necessarily do it, but the way that you do it is you have to pop both arms off at the bicep swivel. Then you line up the crossed arm part on one arm, like so, then swing it around and line it up to the other. Be careful that you don't get those sleeves caught up in that connection part, because you might break something off. You don't want to do that, kids. And then once you do that, you have Vegetto looking very stern and looking like he's going to give someone a nice talking to. When are we going to get a boo, SH Figuarts? Anyway, let's continue on. Alongside those arms, we do get the alternate hand parts, and aside from the fists, we get 2 splayed hand parts, we get 2 Kamehameha hand parts, which are quite literally repaints from a Goku Figuarts. No, I'm not joking here, you can literally see the nails on the hands. That's right, Vegetto wears gloves. All the other hands, you can't see the fingernails, but on this one, you can clearly see the nails. Yeah. And then the last hand there is to go with the Spirit Sword, so it's kind of like a karate chopping hand. And the way that it goes in the Spirit Sword, you'll see in a quick second after we take a look at that. So the Spirit Sword is a translucent yellow plastic, but unfortunately it kind of looks more like something out of the LBX effects. Kind of looks like a plastic model effect instead of something along the lines of the previous Kamehameha effect part that we got with Goku or even Cell, or even some of the other effect parts that we have gotten in other lines. It does look very cheap and it's very, very hard plastic, so if this should fall, I imagine it's going to shatter. But the way that it works is you just slide the hand into the hole at the base of the burst of the Spirit Sword, and then you're good to go. And yeah, there is actually a hole in it for a support stand, which I highly recommend you get because this is a heavy effect part. If you just have this on Vegetto's arm, all fine and dandy for a bit, because it is heavy and that can cause strain on the joints, which may in worst case scenario lead to breakage, but generally speaking that just may cause his arm to fall down, and if he's on display it might knock another figure over. So all in all, we get a nice accessory package here with Vegetto, though maybe a couple of other faceplates would have been great, and it's really a shame that the Spirit Sword didn't turn out to be a bit better. However, Vegetto does have a whole bunch of different attacks, like the final Kamehameha, or even that Banshee Blast, right? Right. So if you're looking to maybe spice up your Vegetto display, I do have a video for you. There should be a card popping up in the top right hand corner of your screen right about now that'll take you over to my effect parts video, and we can help you hunt down that effect part that you need. But anyway, back to Vegetto. We get a solid purchase here for about 40 bucks. Generally speaking, you're going to be able to put Vegetto in pretty much any pose you can think about. And the size comparison, where we can see that he's about as big as any Goku Figuarts you want to pull off of your shelf. So if you have one of those, you pretty much know how big Vegetto is. If not, now you have a better idea of about how much space you should clear on your shelf. So buy now, skip, or wait for a deal. Vegetto really does look good in some key spots, but in others, it's bad quality control with articulation that it's serviceable, you can get some fun poses out of, and accessories which really feel awesome at that $40 price point. However, the figure is 1, very outdated even at the time of release. 2, there may be some questionable ways to get a Vegetto Figuarts. Now, I'm not going to go into detail with that one. We'll leave that up to ambiguity. And 3, there are a whole bunch of 2.0 Figuarts coming out now for the Dragon Ball characters. This guy probably won't even need to be in anyone's collection in the coming years. So, yeah, it's pretty safe to say that unless you have to be an absolute completionist, you may just want to wait for a Super Saiyan Blue Vegetto to come out in the coming years. After all, Tamashii Nations did ask if people were interested in that, and with the Goku Black Figuarts coming out, it would be a great companion piece. Don't get me wrong, this isn't a bad figure, but considering the market in today's day and age, maybe waiting a little bit will pay off in the long run. But regardless, it's not a bad purchase. If you like Vegetto and you like what you see, I think you'll be content with your purchase. Well, folks, that's the end of this review. Thanks for watching, and be sure to follow me on social media to catch more behind-the-scenes shenanigans and updates. The end card should be popping up now with more hand-selected STR goodness for you to watch, so check out some of those videos. Be sure to check the description too to see where you can buy this figure or others like it, and some cool links like the credits for this video and other ways you can help out the channel. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch ya in the next video.